Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we are going to be creating our wrapper class for Keychain access. So basically, Keychain has this um, this model that works via queries. So in order to take out stuff or store stuff inside Keychain, you have to create these queries and execute queries, and everything is written in basically backed by C classes, so C functions. So basically what you'd have to do is mostly you'd have to call these C functions in form of queries to get your data out. So what we are going to do is we are going to create our own wrapper class that is going to wrap these functionalities or wrap these queries inside functions, and then we're going to use those to basically store, delete, update, basically all the functions that we need to do within Keychain. I mean, at this point we only need to do a few things, like we're gonna store password and we're gonna get the password, so retrieve password, we're gonna update passwords, and we're gonna delete passwords within Keystore, right? Keychain. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna create a new file here. So I'm gonna hit Command N and select Swift file, and we're gonna name this Keychain helper. Okay, and first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create an enum that is going to represent the errors that we're gonna get, so we can actually efficiently handle those. So Keychain error type. Okay, and there are a few error types that we need to handle. There's going to be service error, it's going to be bad data error, item not found error, and unable to convert string. Error. Okay, and we're gonna create our custom error inheriting from or conforming to error protocol. And I believe error is a protocol. Let's take a look. What is it? A class. Okay, so let's jump on definition. Yeah, so error is the protocol, so we're gonna conform to that protocol, and we're gonna have a message which is going to be of type string, and we're gonna have a type, which is going to be keychain error type. All right, now we are going to create an initializer, which is going to take status. Status is going to be of type OS status. Okay, so this comes from Keychain itself, and we also gonna expect type, so keychain error type. We're gonna assign type to self, and we're gonna check for the error case. So we're gonna say if let error message is equal to, and there is an objective C, there is a C function actually that we call, it's called SecCopyErrorMessage. So as you can see, it returns CF string. Okay, so what is this is basically it copies the error message string, so we're gonna basically supply the status that we have received, and for the pointer we're just gonna supply nil. Okay, and we are simply going to assign that error message that we have received into message by casting that into a string. So we're gonna cast cf string into string. Else if we could not parse the error, we are simply gonna say we received a status code. And you're gonna just append the status to that. All right. There are two more types, two more overloads that we're gonna create. There's gonna be one just for the type, and there's one gonna be that's gonna take a message, and type, and we're gonna simply assign them to the appropriate types. Okay, so that is all right. Let's take our message and make it optional so we don't get this error. Okay, so that is our keychain error. Okay, so now we're gonna create our wrapper. So we're gonna say class keychain wrapper. Okay, so first function we're gonna basically write is gonna be to store a password. Okay, so we're gonna say store generic password for account. That's gonna be string. Service, that's gonna be string. Password, string. And this actually throws. All right, and we're gonna say if password dot is empty. So we're gonna call delete generic password for account here. So let's go ahead and create that function because we need that. All right, so basically we're gonna call that. So whenever the password is empty, we're gonna simply call our delete generic password, and we're gonna pass the account and service, and we should return from here. All right, otherwise we're gonna first get the password data by converting it into UTF-8 data format. So we're gonna simply say guard let password data else we're gonna print All right, and we're gonna, okay, and that's gonna be basically, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna convert password into UTF-8 data binary format, and then if we fail into that, we actually throw an error of bad data error. Otherwise, we create our query. And this query is going to be a dictionary of string to any. And we're gonna, for the keys, we're gonna use those keys that identify specific class for or specific areas of keychain. So SEC security, basically SEC security, SEC class, and we're gonna convert that as cast that as string, and we're gonna say SEC class generic password. Okay, it's gonna be our first key value. Then we're gonna have SECATTR account, so attribute account. That's gonna be the next, and we're gonna supply the account. Attribute service. And you have value data. Is going to be the password data itself. Okay, next we're going to create status, and we're going to call SecItem add, which is going to add item into the keychain itself. So we're going to simply hit return to autocomplete, and here we are going to say query as CF dictionary, like so. Okay, and next parameter is going to be nil. Okay, now we're going to check these. We're going to create a switch statement on status, and here we are going to first check for error security success. Okay, so that's going to be one error, and so basically if it's success, we simply gonna break. Now if it's a duplicate item, so for example the password that you're trying to generate, it's just an update to an existing item, we want to update that password. So for that we would need another function. All right, so it's going to be another function that's going to basically update, and we're going to handle a case for that. We're going to say error security sec duplicate item, and in that case we're going to simply update generic password for account service, and we're going to supply the password. All right, for the default case we're simply going to throw keychain error, and this is where we're going to supply the status that we have received, and error type is going to be service error. Okay, let's go ahead and try to build, and that actually finishes up our store generic password function. Okay, now let's go ahead and create get generic password. So func get generic password for account and service. This once again throws as well, and it also returns a string. We're gonna create our query right off the bat. All right, and we're gonna first need class. So sec class as string. Class generic password. Attribute account, second item. Third item is the service. And we're gonna indicate match limit and how many items basically we're gonna match, and we're gonna say we are going to limit to 1. Okay, and we're gonna need return attributes. Okay, and we're gonna mark that as true. Return data. So basically this is a boolean indicating whether to return that password or not. So we're gonna mark this as true as well. All right, so that is our query, and now we're gonna create item of type cf type reference. Okay, then we're gonna create our status sec item copy matching query as cf dictionary, and we're gonna supply that item for the second parameter. Okay, and here we're gonna get our status, so we're gonna check for the status. If status is not equal to error sec item not found, so if we get that error, we simply throw keychain error with type item not found. Okay, gonna once again check the create a guard statement around status to check if a status is error sec success. Okay, if it's not, then we're gonna throw keychain error, and this time we are going to throw the status. So we're gonna throw the status and service error. All right, so those are two cases. Now we're gonna extract the item. So we need to extract the password basically. So we're gonna create a guard let, and we're gonna say existing item is equal to item as string to any, and we also gonna extract the value, so value data, from existing items. So KSEC value data as string and cast this as data. Okay, and we're gonna extract value out of that by saying string and we're going to use the overload that takes data, so we can supply our value data and encoding. And if you remember encoding, we actually used UTF-8, so we're going to use that back to cast our data back to a string format using UTF-8 format. And if none of this is, or any one of these fail, then we want to report that as a keychain error, and we're going to use the type unable to convert string error. All right, and now at this point we should have the password, so we're gonna have the password in value and we're gonna return that. Okay, so let's go ahead and build, make sure everything builds, and that actually finishes up our password retrieval. Okay, and next up, let's go ahead and get the update generic password going. And we're gonna first create a guard, let password data, and password data is gonna come from password dot data using UTF-8, else we can simply print error converting value to data, and we're going to return. Otherwise, we're going to create our query. So first we're going to create our class. Then account. And service. Okay. And then we're going to have another dictionary, string to any, and this one is going to be value data string, which is going to hold password data. All right, next up we're going to create status, where we're going to store the status after calling the update, and we're going to call query as CF dictionary. And this is where attribute is used basically to supply that password data that we need, the item that we need to update. So so basically first parameter is going to query and second parameter is going to update that attribute. So we're going to simply say attr as CF dictionary, like that. Okay, and once we have our status back, we're gonna guard on status. So we're gonna check for if it's not equal to error item not found. So error sec item not found. If that is the case, then we're gonna throw keychain error. All right, and we're gonna use the message overload this time, and we're gonna say matching item not found. Okay, and item not found error type. Okay, we may also get, like, I mean, when we have the status, we also gonna get the status as success. If we don't get that, we want to report that too. So we're gonna simply create a record statement around that. So status is equal to error sec success, else throw keychain error. And I know, like, you must be thinking success is not an error, but, like, that's how it's been reported. So we need to actually be mindful of handling that, so we know exactly if anything goes wrong. All right, and we're gonna simply throw that status in the type, and that finishes up our update generic password. Okay, now delete one is gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna have our query once again, and although you can copy paste, I would actually recommend typing, because this will give you an idea, like, when you're actually using it or creating your own new class, you would know what the things are that it takes basically to deal with keychain. So you would actually sort of remember these things. So, which is why I tend to type all these things over and over, so I would remember. And service and account, if you're thinking, like, where they are coming from, we are actually going to create those are going to be custom string, but they're going to be one-time defined strings. So we're going to use for throughout our update, retrieve, delete, all the processes, those string values are going to be same, and they're going to act as our account and our service to identify the containers where our password or our secret is stored within keychain. So that is why we are actually taking those values in each and every function that we have created. Okay, with that, our query is created. So let's go ahead and create our status one more time. SEC item delete, and this one is as simple as that. Query as CF dictionary, and we're simply gonna create our status and check for success or item not found, right? Those two. Otherwise, we wanna throw keychain error with status and service error. All right, let's go ahead and build, and hopefully everything succeeds. Okay, so all is good. So this is our keychain wrapper that we have actually just finished. Okay, so that actually is gonna help us store our password into keychain, and after writing this, you're gonna see, like, how simple it is to just basically write your functions, call your functions, and have your password retrieve or delete or update or store, whatever. Okay, all right, so with this we have reached to the end of this video. In the next video, we're going to continue with one more auth related work. We need to create a biometric auth wrapper. So we're going to create a biometric auth class, and that is going to handle our authentication, basically, for our Face ID or Touch ID, and we're gonna create that in the next video, and after that we're gonna proceed for the other areas of the app. Okay, so I'll see you guys in next video. Thank you.